It's been 2 weeks. Spoilers be damned. It's time to talk about Avengers Endgame. Welcome back, Internet. Thank you for stopping by. I am the COG. And if this is your first time here, I talk about how Disney is ruining Star Wars. I talk about the MCU and other pop culture-related topics. So if you find you enjoy my content, please give consideration to clicking that subscribe button and the notification bell so you don't miss anything. But now, let's finally talk about Avengers Endgame. I've been kind of putting this off and didn't want to spoil anything for anyone. The Russos have already lifted the official spoiler embargo. I gave it a few more days after that. Let's get to it. I liked this film. I really enjoyed it while I was there. The experience of seeing a huge, emotional, big spectacle like this in the theater. Seeing it in the theater is what really makes a difference. You got the big screen, you got the big sound, you have the energy of the rest of the audience. Everyone is caught up in the big holy shit moments. And then after you leave the theater, you still have those great feelings, the great emotional impact of seeing something that just, gut punch you in the feels. And then, if you're like me and other people that have criticized, the wheels kind of start turning afterwards. And then you realize that while this was a great, emotionally impactful, pew pew, pow pow, huge superhero shoot 'em up that was incredibly enjoyable at the time, it is incredibly flawed from a story/narrative perspective. But where my criticisms differ from others like Odin's Movie Blog and others is the impact of being there and seeing what they presented on screen and the way they did it, and the way, I don't know, I just keep coming back to the word impact. All of that outweighed the criticisms for me personally. The way they handled time travel was all screwy. It made no sense. They broke their own rules. And that's just the truth. But the rest of it was so enjoyable, and the way it ended up and everything that happened, that to me just overshadows the narrative problems, and me personally, I can set those criticisms aside. That doesn't mean I'm not going to criticize, because I have plenty of things to say about that, not just with the time travel. But that's just where I differ, where other people have made criticisms on the story and narrative aspects of the film. The problems the film has, they're inherent in the type of story they were telling, the type of story they set up with Endgame, and there was just so many things that had to happen. You had the time heist, where they had to go and get all 6 stones back, going back in time, and they had to do that in a way that was, satisfying. So you would have 5 separate stories that would be satisfying at the end when the stones were recovered, before they moved on to the next act. And that's extremely hard to do without, dropping the ball on at least half of them. And I don't think the Russos really did. Maybe I'm turning the brain off while I'm there and watching it and enjoying it, but that's just the way I feel about it. Now, I'm going to rapid fire through some of the specific aspects of the film that other people have had things to say about. So, here we go. Time heist. Like I said, I like the way it was executed. Makes no sense afterwards when you have conflicting explanations for the time travel aspect of things, conflicting between the Hulk and what the Ancient One said. But again, it's one of those things you just try not to think about while you're watching the film, and you can enjoy it. Smart Hulk. Hated it. I hated Smart Hulk. Smart Hulk is probably one of the worst individual characters of the film. You can have Smart Hulk, but Hulk smashes. Smart Hulk didn't smash. Not like Hulk. Smashes. Hated Smart Hulk. Fat Thor. Didn't much like Fat Thor. Not with the whole body shaming aspect of it. It was all comedy. Way too much comedy. They could have really, gotten into how he got to be the way he was. They really should have spent more time examining the mental aspects of it and what was really eating at him. I mean, they tried to do it when he met up with his mother during the time heist, but, this panic attack, it was still comedy. His panic attack was still comedy, in my opinion. Captain Marvel. Probably still had too much screen time and was very, very arrogant in the 15 minutes that she had. And they retconned the end credit screen from Captain Marvel when they brought her into the film. Girl power. I guess you had to know with Captain Marvel in it they were going to shoehorn something like that in there. A nice moment, but I didn't think it really added anything to the film. The final fight. Well, this is where it all came together. This is where we got so many very cool moments. I know I criticized the girl power moment and said it didn't really have a place. The way they cut it in, I mean, there was a kind of a cool factor in it, but you could tell it was shoehorned in there. Captain America picking up Thor's hammer and wielding it and kicking Thor's ass with it a bit. That was incredible. But the moment that really, the single moment that really, that really got me the most was when everybody emerged through the portals that the Sorcerer Supremes or the Sorcerers were generating. All the other snapped heroes returning, everybody coming from Wakanda, everybody joining the fight. The way that scene, the way that shot was set up and scored, that was an amazing moment. And, even with all the criticisms I have with the film, that was incredible. A great fight that, everybody got a moment for the most part. Spider-Man did a lot. Captain Marvel had her moment. But the very end, with Tony Stark coming away with the stones from Thanos, the end line was a little bit cheesy, but his snap was not. And that was incredible. It was, I don't think that fight, given all the people that were in it, could have been handled any better, in my opinion. We got to see the core Avengers fight Thanos one-on-one, and that's what we all wanted to see. Then everybody else joined the fight. All Thanos' people joined the fight, and it was, a battlefield of Lord of the Rings proportions, which I thought was amazing. And that ending, oh my God, it's, again, emotional. The death of Tony Stark, in my opinion, probably means the death of the MCU, even though we have Spider-Man Far From Home, it's supposed to be the last Phase 3 film. It just really feels like the MCU as we knew it died with Tony Stark. Again, a moment that was handled extremely well. It brought the emotion on screen, I think, probably as good as it probably could have been. So, this is a film that I'm surely going to buy on Blu-ray when it comes out, and even with the flaws in the narrative and the way they mucked around with time travel, it's still a very, very good movie. Structurally, Infinity War was better, but if you have not seen this movie, if you can shut off the inner critic with regards to time travel, because they try to explain it away with different rules than what you're accustomed to from movies like Back to the Future and whatnot. But, you know, it's still messy. Time travel stories are just messy. This is a film that if you have not seen that, you can really, really enjoy if you follow the MCU up to this point. And I do highly recommend you see it at least once. Now, because the wheels are always turning in this cranky old head of mine, the ugly time travel narrative brought up some very interesting ethical questions concerning the Avengers' actions to resolve their Thanos snap / Infinity Stone problem that I think are going to be really fun to talk about. It makes you wonder if they should have done anything at all. And that'll be the subject of a video coming out soon. If you want to know when that video was out, please click the subscribe button and the notification bell so you don't miss anything. And don't forget to like this video if you enjoyed the content. Thank you for watching. I'm the COG, and I